what is up guys? Welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. It's been about 2 weeks since I uploaded. Decided to take a little bit of a break, but we are back with more videos this week. We will continue our cadence this week with the upload schedule of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So be on the lookout for our videos. I'm glad to be back. It's great to be filming again. So super excited about the videos we're releasing this week. Today we're going to be discussing the best watches of 2019 that were sold at Life on the Wrist. If you aren't aware, at Life on the Wrist we also have a vintage watch shop where we curate some pieces from collectors we know, or auctions that we take part in, and we sell them to interested buyers. But we really want to focus on the stories behind the watches that are a part of them. So today I'm going to be discussing my favorite 3 watches that I sold during the 2019. We are at the end of the year, so it's kind of crazy that 2019 is already over, but we sold some really cool pieces, and I thought I would discuss the 3 watches that I really liked during this year. We did create a video similar to this one where we discussed my favorite watches that I sold last year, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. I'll put a link in the description to that video. I'd also love to know what watches you thought were the best that we sold from our website, so go ahead, go over there. If you aren't aware with our shop, I'll put a link in the description to our shop. It's always there. And check out the watches that we sold. So the first watch, and this probably comes as no surprise to you if you are familiar with who I am and the watches that I like. The first watch that I really loved curating and then obviously selling was an Amida Digitrend. This is a very quirky watch, but kind of touches on my love for MB&F. If you don't know, MB&F is my favorite modern watch company. It looks very similar to the MB&F HM5, and I kind of realized that and started to look for one. This is a watch that someone didn't reach out to me for. I actually wanted to curate this watch for the shop because I want to buy watches that I love, and then this is an example of something that I really loved. So I went out and I tried to look for one, ended up finding one with a dealer friend of mine, and ended up buying it for him at a reasonable price. And yeah, what can I say? This is an absolutely cool, just a very cool watch to have. It was manufactured in the 70s. It was a mechanical movement that, quite a delicate mechanical movement actually. That was one of the things that I was kind of worried about. A lot of the times these watches have, if it isn't the original movement, they have replacement movements. This one had the original movement, but it was extremely delicate. So the design of the watch is kind of looks like the back of an old vintage car, vintage Porsche. That's what kind of the design, and you get design elements that you get from. But you actually look at the time horizontally as opposed to vertically, so it's almost like the dash of a car. It's a really cool design. This one was all blacked out. It had a really cool bracelet to it. I think it was the original bracelet as well, which was very cool. I loved the fact that it kind of allowed me to explore and kind of feel that I was wearing an MB&F, but not for the price of MB&F. So really enjoyed curating this one. This one was also in amazing condition. It had the original movement, which I said previously, which is very uncommon with Amida Digitrends. Also, the case was just untouched. It has a PVD finish, so it wasn't even scratched, which was really cool. Like I said, the bracelet was in really great condition. It was kind of a rubber, very comfortable strap. And this watch we ended up selling actually to a collector in Singapore. So it didn't end up staying in the United States, it ended up going to Singapore, which is cool. I like the fact that the Life on the Wrist family is a global family, so I'm sure the collector was extremely happy with it. He obviously wrote us a review, so that's on our site as well. So if you haven't seen the Amida Digitrend, this was probably my favorite watch that I sold this year. Moving on to my second pick. My second pick is actually a modern watch. I was asked to find for a collector friend of mine. Actually, he's a very, very good friend of mine. We've become very close in recent years. This was a Tudor Black Bay Black. It came with box papers, the works. It also came on a rubber strap, but he switched it over to a bracelet. I liked this watch, and it was one of my favorite watches to curate for the shop, and one of the best watches that we sold in 2019 because, first of all, I think the value in Tudor Black Bays is absolutely phenomenal. You get just about anything you need in a watch, and I think my friend who ended up, who asked me to source one for him, I think he actually realized that this is an amazing watch and he probably doesn't want to get rid of it. So amazing value. Also, iconic design, looks very much like a Rolex Submariner, but you don't have to pay that price. So it's a real value buy, and I enjoyed finding it for him and finding a piece that would work for him and in amazing condition. This one, again, it was purchased 6 months prior to me buying it from the original owner. So basically fresh out of the box with a rubber strap. And my friend obviously has enjoyed it very much over the past year or so. So another really great watch that I enjoyed curating and then obviously selling to a good friend. I think it was because it was two, I ended up, you know, having my friend my friend purchase it from me. I think that was what made it so special, because it kind of, you know, made us become a little bit closer. And I love the fact that I can see someone enjoy a watch, because that's really what this passion is about, enjoying watches. And a lot of the time people will buy watches just because other people are telling them to, and not really enjoy them just because they want to, you know, fit in or go with the crowds. He was really looking for something that he loved, and I think he does love this watch. And again, I'm honored to have purchased it for him. So I know you're probably watching this video, but if you are, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your watch journey. And I'm so glad that I was, and I'm glad that you enjoy the watch, and who knows what watches will come in the future. So that's number two. And my third favorite watch, and this is, we're going back to vintage watches, and this was a watch that I had been looking for, and it took me a little while to find one, but I truly believe that vintage chronographs from the 60s are some of the best value that you can possibly buy in vintage watches. I think it's people are aware of it, but there are definitely some vintage chronographs that have not been touched, and the Breitling Top Time, I think, still has a long way to go when it comes to the value that it can increase to. So my third pick is the Breitling Top Time Reference 2002. This was a watch that, like I said, I was on the hunt for quite a while. I liked the fact that it was a completely clean white dial, or cream dial, being that it had patinaed a little bit. There are Breitling Top Times that come in two tones, you know, or a panda dial. But I like the fact that this one was clean. It was a clean cream color, and it had a beautiful age to it. It came in a stainless steel case. It was running off a Valjoux movement, so very typical of 1960s. It was a beautiful size. It fit my wrist to a T, which is another reason why I really loved it. And I mean, I was so happy that I had the opportunity to own it. It also came with the original papers that it was purchased with. So I really loved it. The case was super sharp. It was probably one of my favorite watches of all time that I have been able to wear. It wears extremely well. 1960s sizes of cases really fit my wrists really well, which is probably one of the reasons why I enjoyed it. And I just loved this watch. It was truly some of the best value that you can possibly get within vintage watches. So if you are looking for a vintage chronograph or looking for value within vintage watches, look at vintage chronographs from the 60s. Look at Breitling Top Times. Some people are trying to push that value and trying to sell it for a little bit more than perhaps they can sell for right now, especially with the way the markets are kind of trending. I think this year has been kind of a soft year when it comes to vintage watches, probably because of the whole, you know, economic boom, longest bull market to date. So there are a lot of factors that kind of went into the vintage watch market, and I think it's becoming a little bit softer. So it was an interesting year selling vintage watches, but again, you know, I was so happy that I was able to find this watch for the store and end up selling it to a collector who's obviously going to enjoy it. So that's my third pick. So just to recap, my first, the best watch of 2019, the top three for me were the Amida Digitrend, the Tudor Black Bay Black, and the Breitling Top Time Reference 2002. We did sell some really cool pieces. We sold Speedmasters, we sold some Rolexes. You know, it's hard to pick your top three favorite watches. I think perhaps these just had very good memories to them. I'll be sure to put up videos so you can see all these watches. I'm looking forward to 2020 to see what watches we'll be able to curate and end up selling to collectors. I'm excited to see what stories come with the watches that we end up curating. It's all a journey, and I'm really excited to kind of go through. So thank you for being with us in 2019, and I look forward to 2020, and be sure to keep a lookout on our store so you can see what we end up curating. So if you've made it this far and you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button. It really does help us out. Let's see if we can get this video to 20 likes. I think that's definitely an attainable goal. Also, if you are new to the channel, we create videos about watches. We kind of don't have really a topic we focus on. We kind of just create what we think would be interesting for that week. So if you haven't seen our other videos, be sure to check them out in our channel. Also, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and again, smash that like button. And with that said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.